You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Lauren, you remember last week we did our match game and we differed on pies. You went with pumpkin, I went with pecan.
Right?
Well, that's because I absolutely love pecan pie.
Oh, then you're going to love this week's Remembering Scorchy Talls.
Yes, and someone could say that I'm nuts over pecans.
Honoring the life and legacy of Scorchy Taws, thanks to Shorts Marine in Long Neck, Delaware. Shorts Marine, everything but the water.
Whoever said it first was right. You learn something new every day. I've lived on Delmarva all my life and just found out that I live in the most ideal pecan climate in the state of Maryland. Who says so? None other than Iliff Miller, the foremost pecan authority I've ever had the pleasure of meeting.
I worked for the Department of Agriculture as a liaison officer in the Alabama A&M University. We lived on a street called Pecan Grove Drive, and we had Stewart pecans growing all around our house. When I came back to the Department of Agriculture in Washington, I wanted to find a place within reach of Washington on a weekend where I could have a grove of pecans of my own.
And why, we wondered, did he ever choose Crisfield?
I wanted to find a place in Maryland, if possible, that had a long growing season, and I found that Crisfield had the longest growing season in the state of Maryland. It has 225 days. I planted 4 trees in '74, and then I got 6 more in '76, and then I started grafting, and I've grafted the others. I have 30 trees now.
So there's a pecan grove on Delmarva. Well, you could have knocked me over with an olive branch. I feel like Rip Van Winkle, who just woke up from a 20-year nap, given the fact that Iliff Miller, the affable Norseman from Minnesota, has lived a scant mile from me for 20 years, and I never even knew he was on Earth. He may have shook a lot of pecan trees, but he sure hasn't rattled many chains.
I'm not in it for personal gain because it's a thing that takes too long for me to get any gain out of it. I would like to have other people get interested in pecan growing. I'm a kind of a promoter. And I'm doing this as an example of what you can do with a good variety of pecan if you have the right climate and the right soil.
And Crisfield has both. So saith Iliff Miller, purveyor of pecan gospel. A man who says it's quite possible that someday the crab capital might also become a pecan paradise. Scorchy Taws, wandering our Delmarvelous land for WBOC News.
Remembering Scorchy Taws is sponsored by Shorts Marine. Online at shortsmarine.com.
Did you know that turkeys can run up to 25 miles per hour and fly in short bursts up to 55 miles per hour?
Did you know that in the early part of the 20th century, there were only around 200,000 wild turkeys in the U.S.? Did you know that there are nearly 7 million now?
And did you know that turkeys can swim? They do this by tucking their wings, spreading their tails, and kicking.
Now you do.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina.
We're going to flip through the photo album right now and take a look at your latest pictures.
Thanks to our friends at North Bay Marina.
Michael Whitaker of Seaford had a great final day of the first half split of Delaware duck season with teals, bluebills, and ringnecks.
Sky Story went on her last youth hunt before turning 16 and made the most of it with this big buck that her little brother absolutely approves of.
Wayne Shelton went down to Crisfield and may have reeled in the most photogenic rockfish we've ever seen.
And Justin Webb of Greenwood captured this amazing shot of the Northern Lights at Cape Henlopen State Park.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by North Bay Marina.
The Longhorn-butcher-and-taxidermy mount of the week is this 8-pointer harvested by Evan Kolb in Wicomico County.
For all your butcher and taxidermy needs, call Spencer at 410-422-3942. Stop by the shop on Morris Road in Pittsville or check out Longhorn Butcher on Facebook.
Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.